Hello, welcome back to another video tutorial here at GeekatPlay Studios. My name is Gary Miller. Over in the forum, someone posted a question if I could do a hexagon tutorial based on the modeling that Arthur Rosa had done in ZBrush when he created this tutorial here on modeling a cave. And for you ZBrush users, I would encourage you to see Arthur's tutorial. He definitely knows what he's doing, and it's a great tutorial, and he also does some wonderful work in View as well. So we're going to create this for hexagon users, modeling a cave interior. First off, I want to start off by creating a cylinder, and I'm going to leave all these defaults as it is. I'm not going to close the top and the bottom. I'm going to hit validate. Let's rotate it sideways, stretch it out a little bit. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to model this in several stages as we apply various levels of smoothing to it. And the reason being is that when we add smoothing, it kind of undoes a little bit of the work that we had previously done. It kind of smooths, as its name implies, everything out. So as I start creating the final details for this with the last level of smoothing, then that's when I'm going to or rather, when I apply the last level of smoothing, then that's when I'm going to apply my fine details to this. So using the loop tool, I added a couple bends to it, and now I'm just going to bring the top down a little bit. And now I will apply one level of smoothing, and let's see how that looks. And I think I'll add a few more little bends to this. I'm going to click on soft selection here, and I will increase the radius of that a bit. There we are. Bring that down a little bit. Bring this up some and over a little bit more. There we go. Okay, I think I will click on the end here, increase my soft selection radius. Let's see, what does that look like? Increase a little bit more. Okay, now I'm just going to fold or bend the top of it up a little bit. Let me click off of this and see what we're looking at as we zoom in. That looks good. Okay, let me reselect it again. And I'm going to add one more level of smoothing, and let's see what our shape looks like so far. Okay, well, I'm satisfied with that so far. Let me zoom in. I will come over here to vertex modeling, and I'm going to choose the tweak tool and select points. And if you haven't used the tweak tool, it works really well in allowing you to create some details and basically do some fun little tweaking of the model. And so I'm just going to add some irregularities to this. And as I said before, I'm not going to be working creating fine details just yet, because a lot of them will be lost when we add additional smoothing to this. And this is just one of the stages of creating this as we go through the various levels of smoothing. Okay, let me click off. Let's have a look inside, see what it's looking like. Oh, it's definitely looking cave-like. Okay, now I want to add another level of smoothing to this. And I think I'm going to add one more. There we are. Now, every time you hit smoothing, it quadruples or multiplies by 4 the number of polygons on your object. So now I think I've got my last level of smoothing. So I'm going to come up here to the Displacement Brush tool. And in using this, it will allow me to very quickly add a lot of irregularity to this. So I'm going to come down here, and unfortunately with this pop-up window it will not allow me to click on it and drag it in the visible area here. But I'm going to click on this brush called Waves and reduce the strength a little bit. Let me bring up the size of my brush, maybe not that large. And what the displacement brush does is it allows me to displace or move the polygons in real time. And I want to bring the strength of this down some. There we are. And all the various brushes supposedly have slightly different effects, but in my playing around with it, they all are very, very similar in their displacement effects. And so if you really want to take advantage of the uniqueness of the various brushes, you've got to have high res, high polygon count on your model. Okay, so in just a couple brush strokes and in just a few seconds, we've added a lot of detail that would have otherwise taken us quite a bit of time with if we just use the tweak tool. Alright, let me click off of this and we'll zoom right in and look at it. It looks pretty cave-like to me, lots of irregularity on the surface. Let's come up here and choose another brush and displacement. Let's see what effects some of these other ones have. It's a leather, macro, marble. Oh, let's see what the macro does. It almost looks as though it's eliminating some of that detail that I initially placed into it. Let's try another one. Let's try copper. Let's see what copper does. This looks to be a very fine brush, as it's not having a great deal of effect on this. And what's this one? Fuse ball. Try this one. You know, I think I'm going to go back to my initial one. Ooh, horns. Let's try this. See what effect this has. Maybe increase the strength a little bit. There we are. This is adding a lot of fine irregularity. Oh yeah. There we go. Horn. Remember that one. And unfortunately, it looks like it's adding a lot of sharp edges, so I may need to add one more level of smoothing to this, or find a brush that can smooth a little bit of this out. Let me validate that. Click off. Let's have a look inside. Yeah, that's a little too rough. I think I'll add one more level of smoothing to this. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay. Come down Dynamic Geometry. Now I'm going to commit that level of smoothing by clicking on my little lightning bolt icon there. We got 57,000 polygons on this, which is pretty high. but fortunately for view, it can render this nicely without even thinking about it. Alright, well, now I want to add a few more levels of a few little details here using the tweak tool. I just have to find a radius that's going to work for me. There we are. Let's come up here to vertex modeling and let's find our tweak tool. There we are, tweak, and I'm just going to add a few details to this, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm just about finished up here. What I made sure that I did was kept adjusting the radius of my soft selection so that every little mouse click and adjustment I made wasn't identical. And let's add a few more here in the front. Alright, since we're using the tweak tool, got to validate it when we're finished. Okay, I definitely say that's cave-like. Alright, I think I'm done with the shaping of this. There's one last thing that I want to do, and I want to reduce the radius on there. We'll add a few stalactites on this by just dragging straight. Well, maybe increase the radius a little bit more. Let's see what effect this has. Let's try the tweak tool. A little bit shorter, smaller radius, and just create a few stalactites coming down off the top. And definitely to add a good level of, maybe just a little bit more, a good level of randomness to this. Make sure you change your radius on your soft selection tool so that they're not all the same. And we'll add a stalagmite down on the bottom. So this is just about it. This is creating a cave interior using the tools that Hexagon has, and I've never done a tutorial using the displacement brush, so that's something a little bit new. It doesn't have a lot of use except for something that has a very high polygon count, and I usually don't create models with very high polygon count, which is why I haven't done any tutorials with it in the past. And so here's creating stalactites and stalagmites and the inside of a cave here in Hexagon, and it's ready to be brought into view and have a procedural texture applied to it. So that's it for this tutorial. Thanks for watching here at GeekatPlay Studios. My name is Gary Miller. Have a good day.